it's Miriam. Are you facing some health challenges? Have you ever endured a very serious health and medical challenge or a surgical nightmare? Have you been sidelined because of health issues or running injuries? Well, I'm going to share with you what I have endured in a span of maybe 6 years from 2008 to 2014. I endured quite a bit regarding health issues and a major surgical error that almost cost me my life. I'll begin with 2009. In 2009 was the first year that I was not able to run at all. I was experiencing some twitching and numbness and spasms, very, very painful in my feet and my hands and my arms. And I was tested for everything under the sun. I was tested for ALS, for MS, for chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy, and even bone cancer. Finally, I was probably diagnosed by a top neurologist. I was diagnosed with myelopathy of the spinal cord due to B12 deficiency. My body does not naturally produce enough B12 to produce the myelin sheet that is required around my spinal cord. So my B12 deficient was a neurological condition that is easily treatable with, for my case, lifelong B12 shots. And after I was properly diagnosed and my body felt better, I started to train for the 2010 North Face 50 Endurance Challenge outside Washington, D.C. Boy, that was such a wonderful experience for me, because even though I was at the tail end of the runners, I still managed to complete the 50 miles, and I was so happy because I knew I could still do the distance. A couple of years later, in 2012, I placed third in my first 24-hour endurance event, the Around the Lake 24-hour endurance event. I was so happy and just so thrilled. And 3 days later, I went in for my scheduled laparoscopic hysterectomy to remove massive fibroids that were interfering with the quality of life. And that was the start of a major life-threatening medical error. I could have lost my life. During the surgery, my left ureter was transected. That left my body with urine. My abdomen was filled with urine. That caused a small bowel obstruction. I was in the hospital an additional 14 days. And then I had a nephrostomy tube inserted in my left kidney. And I had a urine bag strapped to my left thigh. All of this in preparation for the final surgery to heal and to repair my left ureter. I was on medical leave for 6 months. I also lost 20 pounds. My hair started to fall, and I also got Cipro toxicity, Cipro poisoning. I was given Cipro, a very strong and very dangerous antibiotic in my case, for a urinary tract infection caused by the nephrostomy tube. But I survived it all. Doctors were stunned that sepsis had not set in sooner and that I did not lose my life. So I took care of that. I was on medical leave for 6 months, and I eventually also lost my job too. My third health issue happened right after this Cipro toxicity. A couple of months later, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. But I was on methotrexate and Plaquenil, but that didn't really help me. And what did help to give me some relief was walking. My fourth challenge that sidelined me, but only temporarily, or actually not really, was plantar fasciitis of my right heel. That was my first running injury in 28 years at the time. But why am I telling you this? Because I want to encourage you not to give up and to persevere through your challenges, whatever challenges you may be having. I'm also telling you this because I want you to know that tough times don't last, tough people do, okay? And I'm telling you this, I'm encouraging you to remember that running is very healing. Running helped to heal me spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. After I survived my surgical nightmare, I was on medical leave for 6 months from the time I had the surgery in August, and then in January of the following year I started to slowly walk and to start training to run the Around the Lake 24-hour ultra event again, but this time as part of my healing journey. And I went back the following year, and after 18 miles I decided it was enough. I had locked in almost 65 miles, a little over 64 point something, and I was also on Plaquenil and methotrexate for my arthritis, but it was part of my healing journey, and part of running helped me to heal. When I had my plantar fasciitis, it was very painful, but relative to the pain and the nightmare that I had endured with my surgical crisis, the pain of the plantar fasciitis was really mild in comparison to what I had endured. And I still managed to run an ultra, another 24-hour ultra, and I was able to do 62 miles, which I was happy about. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, in 2014, while shoveling snow at home, I slipped on a patch of ice I didn't see in the driveway, and I fell and broke my left shoulder. I had a left humerus fracture. Very, very, very painful. But guess what? In comparison to what I had endured in my surgical nightmare with 4 compromised organs, you know, my bladder, my ureter, my kidney, and my small bowel, a broken arm, shoulder was nothing in comparison. And guess what? I had already been training at the time for another 100 miler, and it was the following month in March. I showed up anyway. I showed up with my arm in a sling, with a hiking pole in tow, and I walked one 10-mile loop. And the trail had snow patches and ice patches, and it was quite muddy in some areas. But I managed to do that one loop in a little over 4 hours, and boy, I was thrilled. So you see, life is full of twists and turns, and this is a trail close to my home where I do a lot of training, and this is the trail where I also came right after I got my nephrostomy tube. I really wanted to go out. I was feeling a little bit better, and my husband took me here, and I walked 1.7 miles in 1 hour. I was never so happy in my entire life. I was so happy that I could still move my legs. And that's another message that I want to send out to you, that whatever injury you're having, whatever health crisis you're having, if you can, get out and walk, get out and run, jog, do whatever you can, because movement is really important in healing, okay? And when I think about those years, that span of years where I had one health challenge, one health crisis, one life-threatening surgical error, everything one after the other, I thought about that, and I have just concluded that what helped me to survive all of these health challenges as a runner was that I approached these health crises, these adversities, these obstacles in the same manner that I approached my running, with discipline, focus, faithful perseverance, calculated steps, envisioning crossing the finish line, staying positive, staying upbeat, staying faithful and prayerful. My faith is very important to me, as is my family who cared for me, especially my husband during these difficult times. And that's what I want you to take away after watching this. You can also read about these stories on my website blog. In one piece that I wrote, Come What May, I Want to Run, How Ultra Running Saved My Life. You'll find that one. In my blog, you'll also find how to run with rheumatoid arthritis. Don't let rheumatoid arthritis stop you from running. There's a lot that you can do when you have rheumatoid arthritis to stay active and to stay physically strong. And you'll also see my piece on my B12 deficiency and how I got my running legs back. So there you have it. Whatever obstacle, adversity, whether it's health or otherwise, don't give up. You're only going to be sidelined for a little while. It's important to recover, but a big part of recovery is staying physically active and always moving, walking or running until you're back to where you want to be, and continue running. And during this time, I didn't stop running. I ran ultras, including my first 2 100-mile ultras, which I was super happy about. So there you have it. Run well, train well, stay strong, and keep moving. Thank you for watching.